Hello, welcome back. This is chapter 5, Indigo, written by Louis Fisher. And today I'm going to explain page number 48 to you. So here we go. The train arrived at midnight, 15th April 1917. Kriplani was waiting at the station with a large body of students. So Gandhiji wrote a letter to J.B. Kriplani, and according to that according to that letter and the message given to him, Kriplani was ready at the station, Muzaffarpur station, with a large body of students, that is, with a crowd of students there. It was on 15th April 1917, and he was there. The train reached at midnight. So he reached there. Gandhi stayed there for 2 days in the home of Professor Malkani, a teacher in the government school, and from there he was taken to Professor Malkani's residence, and he stayed there for 2 days. That is, his stay at Muzaffarpur was for 2 days before he moved out to Champaran. It was an extraordinary thing in those days, Gandhi commented, for a government professor to harbor a man like me. So it was treated as extraordinary affair. That is, it could not be imagined, it could not be thought of that a teacher would host a politician or a revolutionary or someone who advocated for the rights of the common man, because that was treated as treason to the country, treason to the law. And so it could not be imagined that a government teacher would host, and that's why, probably for the same reason, Professor Kriplani did not take him to his own residence. Probably he was on the hot list of the government. In smaller localities, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of home rule, and in smaller localities, smaller places, smaller towns, people were afraid. People were scared to show their sympathy, to come out open in support of these people who advocated for home rule, those who spoke of the home rule, that is self-governance. The news of Gandhiji's advent and of the nature of his mission spread quickly through Muzaffarpur and to Champaran. Now, Gandhiji's arrival and the kind of mission that he was carrying out, or say that he had started in the country, spread to all the nooks and corners of Muzaffarpur and its surrounding places, Champaran and all, and consequently, what happened consequently? Let's see. Sharecroppers from Champaran began arriving on foot and by conveyance to see their champion, and as a result, as the news spread of his arrival, people from all over the places, that is from Muzaffarpur, from Champaran, from all over the places, people started to arrive, people started to throng into the city of Muzaffarpur. They were coming on foot, they were coming by their conveyance. Those who were having their conveyance, they were coming by their conveyance. Others arrived there on foot. And they wanted. Why they came there was the reason. The reason was that they wanted to see the champions of their rights, the one who was there to fight, ready to fight for the rights for the common man there. Muzaffarpur lawyers called on Gandhi to brief him They frequently represented peasant groups in court. They told him about their cases and reported the size of their fee. Now there, at Muzaffarpur, he was met by the lawyers. A lawyer's body came and they met him, or they briefed him of all the cases that they were fighting in the trial court, and they also informed him about the size of their fee, that is, the fee that they charged from the sharecroppers, because most of them were fighting the cases of the sharecroppers. Size of the fee means the amount of fee. Gandhi chided the lawyers for collecting big fee from the sharecroppers, and here Gandhiji was upset. He was unhappy with the treatment, or say he was unhappy with the way the lawyers treated the sharecroppers, because they were suffering, they had been suffering at the hands of the landlords, and here they were charging hefty fees, that is, huge amount of fee from them. So he chided, that is, he reprimanded, he scolded all the lawyers. I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to law courts, he said. My conclusion is that we should stop going to the law court. Taking such cases to the courts does little good, and this kind of cases, fighting this kind of cases to a law court does little good. Why? Because it takes a lot of time. The cases get extended too long. It continues for years together, and that causes a burden, heavy burden on the poor people, sharecroppers, and on the poor people. And that's why he said these are useless. The real relief for them is to be free from fear. And for them, he said, his suggestion was that the real relief for this sharecropper should be to be free from fear. Most of the arable land in the Champaran district was divided into large states owned by Englishmen and worked by Indian tenants. And the situation was that most of the arable land, that is, most of the cultivatable land in the district, was divided into large states. The entire arable land was divided into large states owned by Englishmen, and they were all owned by, that is, the owner of all the arable land there in Champaran, who were the Englishmen, and the workers on those states were the Indian tenants. They worked, they grew crop there for the Englishmen, and in lieu they had to give certain portion, certain amount as tax. So that was the situation. The landlords compelled, the chief commercial crop was indigo. The landlords compelled all tenants to plant 20th or 15% of their holdings with indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as rent. This was done by long-term contract. Okay, so chief commercial crop of that time was indigo. That is, indigo was the cash crop. The landlords compelled, they forced the tenants to plant indigo that is on the 3/20th or 15% of their holding with Indigo. That is a 3/20th or 15% of the land had to be used for growing indigo. That was the compulsion from the side of the landlords, because that was the holding. That was officially their right. That is 15% was theirs only, and that's why they forced them to grow a particular crop there only. With indigo, and surrender the entire harvest as rent, and surrender the entire 15% of that is the entire crop of that portion of land to the landlord. That is, they wanted that that one completely. This was done by long-term contract, and this was done by a long-term contract. That is, they had a contract between the two parties, landlords and the tenants, and according to that, 15% of the land produce had to be surrendered to the landlords, and they had to grow whatever they wanted, whatever the landlords wanted them to grow or wanted them to produce. Probably, if not that was the case, still they compelled them to produce indigo there. So this is all for now. Thank you.